Prepare to qualify.
You'll laugh. You'll cry. You'll certainly wonder why you watched a semi-useless show.
All right, everybody. Welcome to another edition of a semi-useless show. I'm your host, Jim. Right over here, we have our co-host, Bill.
AKA Alien Andy.
Alien Andy. That sounds
I was
familiar
like,
to
wait,
somebody.
an alien? Sound familiar?
Carlos, you remember Alien Andy?
Oh yeah, Alien Andy?
Yes. So we don't know if any of the schmoes out there have ever had sex with an alien, but...
Oh, Alien Andy. I was like, what the hell am I talking about?
Okay. And
You
our
know,
schmo
to be
host,
honest,
Sam,
I
is
was
right
like
over
messing
here.
with this, and I'm looking at the little pictures down there. There's like 47 people here. I'm like, what's up?
I know, crazy. This is our schmo host, Sam, right here.
How you doing?
We have our nose most Jesse.
What's up?
And our nose most Mike again. I don't have another setup for that.
What's up, guys?
Knows most.
And we also have a very special guest today, which people in Orlando may know him from the Monsters in the Morning, the greater Orlando area. Or if you're, throughout all of Florida, you might know him from his Florida Lotto commercials. He's also in Orlando, the voice of the Predators, officially, which is very good. And worldwide, you may know him for his many roles, including Identity Thief, and coming up, The Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt. Well, not coming up, but it's already live on Netflix, which is an amazing show, and that is Carlos Navarro.
Hello.
Woo!
Carlos.
How we doing, everybody?
Good. So you can reach him at To The Top Carlos on Twitter, and his website, IamCarlosNavarro.com, and Photography by Navarro. So,
Vibrator?
yes. So my main thing I wanted to start with, Carlos, asking you, is kind of how you got your start in acting. I saw it said you were kind of behind the screen in your bio, and then you started taking some acting classes.
Right.
Is that where you started, or?
Yeah, I mean, I always was kind of into it, and a lot younger, always wanted to get into the movies, try to do something. I love Steven Spielberg, and always like I was going to be a director. And so that's what I did. I was always doing videos, and actually that's how I got into radio, was doing production. And and then kind of was like, well, I need to learn a little bit more about in front of the camera, and that's when I just started taking acting classes. And the second I took acting classes, I was like, yeah, I need to do this a little bit more. And that's really kind of how it just jumped off. I never did any drama in high school or anything like that. I was actually in TV production in high school, and all kind of more production stuff, really.
Right. And you actually went to college for the production side also, right?
Yeah, I was going to Valencia at the time. I was going in their film program, which had a really good film program at the time, and I think it's still pretty good. But then I got a job on the radio, and I was like, peace. So.
Yeah. Yep.
Nice.
And that's where did you take your acting classes?
There's a couple ones here called Art's Sake Studios, and then the one that I currently still drop in from time to time is Class Act Studios. And there's a lot of actors in Orlando that are, you see in a lot of TV shows, a lot of movies. They cast a lot of Orlando because it's a really multicultural, multi-look kind of crowd, and there's a really good pool of talent here.
Okay.
Is Orlando a spot that they shoot frequently? Like I know, like Toronto, LA, they shoot there a lot, but like is Orlando and Miami too? But is Orlando a place that gets shot out frequently?
Yeah, there's a lot of commercials that are done out of here, and the majority of film and TV that comes in, they'll have to scout for a certain location. But a lot of really the stuff that comes out of is Georgia and Louisiana and North Carolina. That's where, but they cast out of here. So that's kind of how it works. And luckily with being able to tape stuff so easily, just like this. At my house, I have a studio in the back, and basically about 2 or 3 times a week, you get auditions, and I just went out for. Well, I mean, you're always going out for auditions. You audition about 98% of the time, and that 2% is the cool shit that you actually get to book. The rest is just kind of like getting denied. And but yeah, you're always going for stuff, and Orlando's a good place to be.
Okay. Did you first start in commercials, or did you get one of your shows first?
The first paid production that I got was a 2K5 commercial with Derek Jeter, and I just
Nice.
I just started acting, like actually saying, okay, I'm going to do it, because I was just kind of doing radio. And I was like, I don't know if I'm going to actually go out there and try and audition. And my teacher was like, you got to go, you got to do this. And luckily I did. And the commercial ended up being really cool. It was a 3-day shoot. I got to work with Derek Jeter. I got to tackle him. He was honestly one of the nicest guys. And to this day, I was fortunate enough to work at EA Sports for a long time too, so I got to meet a lot of athletes. But on one hand, I can count on how many athletes will actually tell you their name. And I'll never forget Derek Jeter, because they just kind of, hey, dog, hey, man, this is how I do, dog, and they just expect you to know wherever the hell team you play at. And Derek walked up. We've already been shooting for 2 days and literally tackling people. We had a stunt double. And he walks up and goes, Derek's here. And I was like, oh, cool. And then I played like a kidnapper, where I was dragged him in a van and threw him in there or whatever. And he walks up, and, we're there for him. And he walks up and is like, hey, how you doing? Derek. And I'm like, hi, Derek. Like, we're here for you. Everybody's here for you.
Yeah.
And, I'm not a huge baseball guy. I'm a basketball guy. But I always got love for that dude. I was able to work with him again about 5 years later. And I was like, I know you probably don't remember, because you've done about 50 million commercials. And he's like, you tackled me and threw me in that van. I was like, yes.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Great.
Yeah, that's really good. And then show-wise, what was your first show you did?
First TV show was Prison Break. And it was crazy, because right at that time, the radio show that I work on, I was on the outs with the radio show, and I swear to God, the same day that I got fired from the radio show is the same day I had my interview with EA Sports, and the same day I had my audition for Prison Break. And luckily, I booked those two. It was just like one of those. Good. And so Prison Break was my first one, and we shot it out at. And I'm sorry, who asked the question before about shooting here? Like, they came and shot here for that particular. I think it was in St. Pete for that particular look, and so luckily, similar to Kimmy Schmidt, where they just shot here at Universal Studios, we get a lot of these shows that come in that are looking for these locations. And my wife's like, say hi to my wife.
Hello.
Hi, wife.
My daughter's sleeping, so I can't talk like a loud Hispanic like I am. But yeah, Prison Break was the first one, and it was really, really cool, because when you're down and out, you get fired, you wanna book something cool, and luckily, it ended up being a really popular show that kind of let me move over here. And I know you guys talk a lot about movies and stuff like that, so really Prison Break, being a fan of TV, Prison Break really was the first kind of episodic series that was like, yo, you got to be here every week, you got to watch what that episode is. And so it's cool being a part of it.
Yeah, that's the next show on my queue, Prison Break.
Oh, nice. You'll love it.
The next one, yeah. I've heard nothing but good things about that show.
It's actually funny. So 2 shows you're on are next up on his queue pretty soon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You didn't know you were going to be on the show, and he's like, what do you think about that Kimmy Schmidt show? And then I was telling him that
and you had seen it, right? You'd watched the show before?
I have, yeah. I watched the full first season, and then obviously I skipped to your part. So for me, I was like, I watched it as a binge. So I watched maybe the first 2 episodes, and I was like, I don't know where it's going. They're
I was the same way.
Character developing. And then the 3rd, 4th, and then it just kept getting better and better and better as I watched it. At first, that Titus character, which I'm not sure if you got a chance to work with or not.
I didn't get a chance to work with him, no.
Okay, because in your episode, it kind of seemed like he was in his own area and you were somewhere else. So I kind of figured But at first I was like, man, he's a little over the top, and then all of a sudden he like, by that third or fourth episode, you're like, man, he's actually stealing the show, kind of.
Yeah, he's good.
That was pretty good.
Yeah, I didn't get to. He was out there. It was shot at Universal Studios, and he was there. And I hadn't actually watched the show yet.
Okay.
I heard a lot about it. Heard it was funny, but I didn't watch it. If I would have like I already watched it, I love this character. I would have wanted to talk to him. But I was like, he's doing his thing. I don't want to bother him.
Right. And is that his first thing? Like, was he on stage, or do you know?
I do from time to time will look up an actor like him that has kind of come out of nowhere, and I mean, he had a couple of things on 30 Rock, and he had a couple other things, but that's how this game is, man. If you just stay, if you're able to do comedy, from which what I've seen is really how a lot of people are able to break out. If you can just do a funny character or whatever, it works out for some people, and it works out for him. And luckily, I've been fortunate to book some cool stuff. I wanted to work with him after watching him. I was like, damn, I wish I'd been able to work with him. But the way that they shot it, they did shoot it here in Orlando, but he was just in different scenes.
Oh, okay. I understand. So you had Prison Break. I know you did a little bit on the Charlie's Angels. The thing there. That was definitely a great scene. Like, is this the guy?
Let me tell y'all something about it's funny how acting is. Okay, so Charlie's Angels, the show you're talking about, was an ABC series that aired one time. Okay, and literally my scene was in it, for whatever time, right? But because it got popular in Europe, I still randomly will get a check for like $80.
Wow.
And it'd be for Charlie's Angels, and it is the most bizarre thing. I don't know who the accountants are, but they are the best in the world. If you book a SAG gig, they will pay you until you are dead, like literally. And luckily, because I had that part, and I still get every production you get paid on. I know you guys are interested in kind of the back of the house kind of stuff. So I don't know how it all works, but I'll get a check some days, and it'll be for identity thief, and it'll be, to be frank, like it'll be in the thousands. I'm like, hell yeah, because when it's a movie like that, and I only worked a couple days on it, you get paid residuals by the amount of days you work on a project. So to put in perspective, think of like the regular stars that are there day in, day out. Their money from residuals is ridiculous. So that's how it kind of works. So when you hear SAG, you hear SAG Nationals, and okay, what's the big deal with that? Because that's really how you make your residual money as an actor, where that really helps out. Because the day of the shoot, you get SAG, unless you get, are obviously a main star, or your agent can negotiate more, you'll get SAG rate, which is like $1,600 a day, plus you get paid for the wardrobe. But that's for TV and film. With commercials, you can book a SAG National, right? You book a SAG National, you're like, hell yeah, I'm gonna make some damn money. Let's do it. And like, I've been fortunate enough to probably book 10 SAG Nationals in my life. There's some people that book any, and I can honestly say it's because I'm an idiot and I do crazy characters and stuff like that, and people want that shit for characters, for commercials, right? But you could do the commercial, be like, hell yeah, I'm gonna get paid, and they do the edit and they cut you out and you don't get shit.
Oh wow.
Oh yeah, yep.
So
you don't even get like the time spent at all.
You'll get paid for being there, but that's not really where the money's at. Like I have a Lay's SAG National that's running right now. I've never seen it live, but luckily while the run goes, if they continue to play it, and the markets and the stations and the times that they pay it are different rates. I don't understand it, guys, but I don't care, because that's how.
But so essentially, what you're saying is, if your commercial gets played during the Super Bowl, you're going to make a little extra money.
You know what? Yes, and luckily I've had 2 commercials that played during the Super Bowl. I had a Bud Light commercial that played during it with Jimmy Johnson, where I'm this crazy guy in it, and then I had some other one. But yeah, you do get paid a little bit more. But what I've seen is that's going away too, because people are smart, and marketers and advertisers are smart, and they're like, yo, why are we going to pay ABC, CBS, Fox, and any other the networks that much money when we can go to the web, we can go to Facebook, we can go to, and that's really where a lot of the market is at now.
Have you seen, has any of your stuff ever been played on YouTube and stuff like that?
Yeah, I have like in what sense?
Like any of your commercials been played on YouTube?
Totally. They pay. That's a
Okay.
separate fee that they'll pay. They pay for internet and cable separately than they do for network TV. So they just buy that out, and you know they get a run, and they pay you a certain amount for that. But yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
They most of my stuff is on YouTube. I haven't. I have a whole list of stuff that I got to kind of aggregate and put together to actually get a good stock in there. But yeah, there's plenty of stuff on there.
You have your own agent?
Yeah, a big misconception if you're really trying to work and make money as an actor is if you don't have an agent, you're not making money. There's nobody that will take you seriously. It's not you're not a professional actor if you don't have an agent, because that's really how you get your work, is you get it through your agent. Your casting directors contact the agents. They say, hey, we're looking for, you know, this kind of type, blah, blah, blah. Oh, well,
Right.
this is the guy. And then they send it over to me. I see if I want to do it or not. I don't get anything else other than that. There's no way, you know, I get, you know, I've heard people like, I'm an actor. I'm like, oh, really? So who's your agent? Like, I don't have an agent. I'm more like independent.
Freelancing.
And I'm like, you ain't
You're
making
like-
money, though. You ain't
Good
making
luck.
Name's not Bill Murray.
Yeah, you're exactly right. Like,
Walk anywhere to
those
get a job.
people can do that. Yeah,
Right, exactly. You can kind of pick and choose.
for sure.
You're on that level. So since you brought it up, Identity Thief, which to me, you know, you stole the show on, because
Man.
not only did you, you know, when we watched it, you stood out so much. On the trailer, you stood out enough where people that I know that haven't even seen the movie, like, they're like, oh, you're talking to that guy from the... And I'm like, you said you didn't even see the movie. And they literally remember from that long ago from the trailer, and I think that says something for sure.
Oh, thanks, man. You know, it's so crazy because, like, I worked 2 days on that, right? And it was an amazing experience. But
Yeah.
I didn't know I was going to be in the trailer. I was coming home,
Right.
you know, I'm a big positive person and putting in a lot of hard work, and things were a little slow acting-wise, and I was like, I got to get back in acting class. Just like an athlete with the gym. It's like, yo, I got to get back in there. I got to flex that, you know, I got to work that muscle. And I swear to God, it's so crazy. I go to acting class. I come home. My wife's sleeping. My daughter's sleeping. And I'm about to, like, go lay down, and somebody Facebooks me and says, hey, man, that's cool. You made the trailer. And I thought
Right.
I had already done another smaller film. And so
Right.
I was like, oh, cool. Okay, maybe I made the trailer with that one. And then I go and I click it, and it's like, Universal Studios. I'm like,
Oh man, that had to have been a rush.
it was unbelievable to see that my scene had made the trailer, you know? And I was like, that alone, because I knew how much I shot. I was like,
Right.
I know that's pretty much my scene. So, you know, like,
So-
and so I was just really, really happy and excited about it. And to this day, like, regardless, like, as an actor, you want to do something that, you know, that people can remember, that people, as a
Yeah.
character, right? You know, like, oh, I remember that shit, you know. And look, I'm not saying that was Leonardo DiCaprio in The Revenant, but at least I got something that even when I'm old and gray, I can say, yo, you ever seen that movie, Identity Thief?
Right,
Like,
yeah.
I'm like, remember that guy who says cut the card? That was me.
That was me.
Well, yeah, and the thing is, even if people haven't seen it, I've never even seen that movie. He told me about it. I said, oh, you mean the guy from the trailer, the one that gives him a hard time for the card? So that had to raise your profile so much, just being
It did.
on that trailer, you know?
It helped. It really helped. And, you know, when I
Yeah.
walk into castings and I meet different comedians on the show, and it's just it's just a nice, you know, thing to have. And really, I had originally.
Phone call.
Oh, well,
It's
Mike
me.
was like, I'm out. Mike was like, I'm done with this shit. Originally, that was, you know, as an actor, it's not a lot of fun a lot of times when you know, you're going from between parts. And I was like, all right, you know, they originally said, Carlos, go out there for this one part, and it was a totally different part for the film. He was a junkyard guy, and it was real subtle. And, you know, I was like, it was like 2 lines. I was like, all right, cool.
You're like, that's not me. I'm not subtle. I gotta be in your face. I gotta character act. That's what I do.
And so anyway, they go and they say, hey, they want to see you, but they want to see you for an Indian cashier. And I was like, yo, man, I'm not driving to Atlanta for. I'm not Indian, okay?
For a cashier job.
Exactly. And they were like, look, just do a character. They just want you to do a character if you can. And luckily, we drove down there, did the character. Seth Gordon, the director,
Yes, Seth Gordon was the director. Yep.
right? And he did.
Yeah, same guy who did Horrible Bosses and yeah.
My favorite film he did was King of Kong, the Fistful of Quarters.
Oh, okay, I haven't seen that.
The documentary, guys. You guys should check that out. And
Oh, okay.
it was cool, man. He was so cool. He's like, hey, just improv a little bit. And that's the same way it worked with that scene. They shot it with 2 cameras.
That's what we were gonna ask, because I was like, that sounds like how you are a lot of the time on the show. And Bill, my cousin Billy, was like, I swear he must have improv that scene. Which I don't mean to cut you off, but I did see, which I'm gonna ask about scenes getting cut. But there was a longer, like, hidden scene on the DVD cut where it's like almost like a hidden camera of you behind it. And my favorite part, which I wish they didn't cut, was you're like, my poppy, and he's like, he worked so hard for this store, and he's like, all those hours of online gambling. I was dying laughing.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. You know, that was an Easter egg that they put on the DVD.
You had to do like some trick to even find it, right?
I didn't know about it. I didn't know about it at all. And the day of the shoot, here's the thing. When you do a production, no matter, so I've done big productions where I leave there and I'm like, I felt like I did nothing there, you know? And I've done tiny ass productions where I got a lot out of it and had fun and you know, and that's great. With Identity Thief, it was one of those where I was like, it just was a great shoot. So one of the things that they did was they asked me, because I was improvising. Well, first off, that scene itself was a full day shoot. Okay, they shut down. It was in Atlanta, a massive production. And Seth comes up to me. He's like, "Hey man, we're cross shooting this. So go toe to toe with Jason." I was like, "No problem." And I'd met Jason earlier in the day. Mad cool. He came up to me and he's like, I saw your audition. He's like, it's going to be fun. You're funny as shit, you know? And I was like, whenever I meet any celebrity that I really like, I immediately tell them that I love them. And if I really love them, you know what I'm saying? Like, genuinely, you know? Yeah. Not like if I meet somebody that's cool, whatever, but like I will get that out of the way because I really respect people that do work that I respect, you know? And so anyway, so Jason goes in, he goes, and so we're on the set, and this is where training and comes into play, because a lot of jokesters think that I'll just go audition and then I'll get on set and I don't know what to do. And that's not the case, because once you get on set, there's a lot of technical shit that you're just supposed to know as a professional actor. And one of the things is rehearsal. Be ready to go, you know, be ready to go. And so we're walking on set, and normally when you get on set, you might, you know, kind of bullshit around, you might do this. The second we got on set, Jason goes into his lines. I'm like, oh shit, he's going into his lines. And so we go back and forth, and we did it well. And I said to him before, I was like, yo, my goal is to make you laugh. He's like, bring it. And we shot it, and we shot it. And I didn't want it to end, and we shot it from this angle and that. And then those lines, on the line it just says, you know, I have to cut your card. You know, it doesn't say like Boppy or anything like that. And, and luckily, it worked out. It was a good line, and hopefully they make Identity Thief 2, The Return of the Cashier, that cut the card.
Oh yeah. That's the way it made it seem. It look on that Easter egg. I was like, it seems like they're about to make like an extra thing with him, almost like they didn't do the same thing, but they always.
No, dude, you know what that was? The guy, after watching it, and the crew is, you know, the vibe was great, and then the marketing guy comes up to me. He's like, Carlos, he's like, can we just shoot you as that character? I don't know what we're gonna use it for, but I just want to shoot. I was like, fuck yeah, come on. He goes, can you improv something? I'm like, come on.
Yeah.
You know, and
that's when I'm in my element.
Exactly. Yeah, I was like, so we just started bullshitting, and that's what they got. And then Universal had sent that out to me earlier, and they were like, hey man, check this out. And I was like, cool. And I just thought, okay, they just like saved it for me, and I was like, cool, you know. Yeah. And luckily they put it in the freaking DVD. So.
Yeah, that was really cool. So off screen was Jason Bateman that we always see, because I hear him in interviews, whatever I see him in, I'm like, that is just Jason Bateman, no matter what, and he's got that certain quality.
Yeah.
On or off screen, it's good to have.
Yeah, you know what, there's a lot of guys that play themselves in different forms. Will Smith, George Clooney, Jason Bateman, and they have a certain movie star quality that you just kind of want to see. They don't have to be super charactery. Jason definitely is one of those guys. I think he just look, he's a great actor regardless, because, you know, he really, you know what, I got to be honest. way more reserved, way more quiet. Then again, I'm not his best buddy. It's not
Right,
like
right,
gonna be,
exactly.
but it's not like he was being snarky or like, his style of comedy like he does. But
Oh, okay.
but so it
Because I
wasn't.
even heard him on Stern, and he was
Yeah.
kind of that same snarky. So I'm like, is he still just playing that act, or is that just how he is? You know?
Yeah, I saw him in Zootopia, and I saw it with my daughter, and I was like,
Yeah,
that's a
I saw
perfect
that.
character for that guy and that voice,
Oh yeah, yeah, they nailed it for sure. Now, so director-wise, did you like working with Seth Gordon? Was it good? I mean, obviously it's good that he let you just improv, so that's a great start right there.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, man. Yeah, I'm a production geek, right? So similar to
right,
probably y'all, because you're doing this, and this takes real passion and love of like the whole kind of broadcast element, everything. And so I'm a set rep. If I'm on set, I'm gonna be just walking around, looking at cameras, talking to the gaffer, talking to this, because like just like in
yeah,
basketball, if I was a basketball player, my dream, my real dream, my dream, because that shit ain't happening, it would be to be in the NBA, right? And
right,
I would be in the gym all the time. I would be around there, and I just love every aspect of it. So working with a guy like Seth Gordon, who I'd already loved through documentaries and then his films, it was mad cool. And at the audition, which is a real motherfucker the way it is the callbacks. So basically, it's me and him at the callback. And he's sitting there, and this is literally just me and him in the casting director. You walk in, hey, how you doing? Da-da. And you do the line, and this was his reaction.
oh,
Uh-oh.
wow.
And
Was,
I'm like,
was that
and you
for the
gotta
other role though? Was that for the
no.
garbage?
This was for this one, and this is as
Okay,
an actor, what you want to hear is direction. You don't want them to do that and then say, all right, I'm good. You want to hear them to go, all right, like take that to like a 10, or take that to an 8. And so luckily he goes, He's like, be a little more serious with him, And I'm like, oh, okay, and I did it. And like, so then literally I walk out, okay, they don't tell you like you got it or you didn't get it. You just walk out. It's honestly, it's the worst like blue balls you can get, because you literally are like, oh, amped up, I'm with the director. And then you walk out and you're like, all right, either this is just going to go down or I'm going
right.
to, and
Um,
literally
Nervous.
that callback was in Atlanta. So I don't sleep where I look like a truck driver. I'm like, I got to drive over to Jacksonville, get these oven mitts over there, and that's how I am with auditioning. I just drive straight to Atlanta, like cracked out on coffee, and then I get back in the car. I call my agent. She asks how it goes. I call my wife, and then I freaking listen to the radio and kind of try and forget. Literally try and forget about it.
It's probably hard to do though, right? Like as soon as you're done doing something like that, you're kind of amped up. You're amped up, getting ready to do what you do, and then it's just done, and then you have like that drive home or where you're going, and then it's like you're not going to probably be able to sleep that night and everything, and
For
so you
sure.
got that kind of feeling.
For
That's
sure.
bad. And that happens with a lot of people in their line of work and stuff like that too. So it's like I can relate to
work
that.
is denial. The majority of acting is denial, over and over. And imagine this, on your most favorite shows. I have been basically right of first refusal on The Walking Dead, which is one of my favorite shows. So it's like you or this guy, and they go with that guy.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's the name of the game, and that's why so many people give up. And the people I started acting school with, nobody is still acting. Nobody.
Wow.
Like I went to school, my class had 60 people in it, and I to be honest, maybe one or two of them are. But it can be brutal, but the reward is always a lot of fun.
Of course, it just
Well,
might take a while to get
with so
there.
much denial, like when you get at this point, like if you go to a show, like not every show, but like if you go to something that would normally be excited about, if you like figured out how to level that back, like now if you go to The Walking Dead, is it not like you're not at a 10 right out of the gate? You're just like, okay, I'm gonna go through this just like if it was some commercial for a Lay's potato chip, and if I get it, awesome, but like I'm a little bit. Yeah.
Totally. That's a good observation, because like my wife and I are a big team. She's been with me since literally my first audition, so she's seen it all. She tapes me. We do headshots, and so we help to. Yeah, the first time Walking Dead, it was like, oh shit, oh my god.
Right.
And then the second time, like, oh, and then like honestly, like now we're just like, okay, Walking Dead, all right.
Yep.
Yeah.
But you can't go in there with like the mentality that you're not going to get it, because then you won't get it. But you just gotta. It's hard, and sometimes I'm better at it than not. But when I really, really want the part, and I know it's one of those parts that like literally like could change your life, kind of,
Yeah.
you know,
Mm-hmm.
it's hard to not be a little disappointed. But I do get disappointed. I deal with it, but it's like for 10 minutes, and I'm like, on to the next one.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah, because like you'd burn out if
For
you
sure.
didn't.
Yeah.
and we hear you every day on the radio, me and Bill and Sam every so often, and you're such a positive person that I can't even imagine you having that step back moment. You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
I've had it worse times than
Yeah.
others. And that moment is like, because see, with any kind of denial or time where you feel like, oh man, a little bit sad about it, you gotta at least, okay, take it in. Damn, that sucks. All right, just a
Yeah.
little bit, and then all right, let's move on. Instead of just being like, oh no, 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 nothing bothers me. I'm bulletproof. Da,
Yep.
da, da, da,
Right. It will make you stronger, for sure.
exactly. And I
It
think
can't not. It's just human nature. It'll
for
happen.
sure. So that's what I try and do. And honestly, a lot of the positive stuff came out of going through really negative times and relying on the positivity. So that when, like, look, when I was lost my job, went bankrupt, lost cars, houses, all this crazy stuff, losing Walking Dead, not too bad.
Right. Yeah.
So it's all how you look at it too.
So let's move ahead to Kimmy Schmidt. How did that come to you? Like how obviously your agent probably did his job obviously,
Yeah.
but
Her
did
job, you
did they
sexist.
see or her
Yeah.
job?
Just assume it's a man automatically, Jim.
He didn't say agentress.
Yeah, she's a real ball breaker, my agent. So,
Yeah.
here's how it came about, and this is how most TV and film auditions come about. I'll get an email. My agent will text me and say, "Hey, this TV show wants to see you." I'll look. Okay, for this example, it was Kimmy Schmidt. That day, I was auditioning for a film and another TV show. A TV show I'd never heard of, and a film with the guy from Aaron Paul. And so I had to, but I was also leaving on vacation for a couple of days because that was Christmas. Here's the other thing about acting. They don't warn you. They don't say, like, a week from now, you'll have an audition. You get the audition today. You got to have it done, taped, professionally, lit,
Right.
everything, and have it done in 2 days. Luckily, that's where the production side ends up helping out. We have a studio,
Exactly.
and that's huge. And so anyway, with Kimmy Schmidt, I had to knock out 3. We were doing stuff. That was at 11:30 in the morning. I'm auditioning with my wife. The second I read the character, I was like, "Oh, I got a good voice for it." But it's Kimmy Schmidt with Tina Fey and Lisa Kudrow and all these people.
Yeah.
So that's one of those ones where you asked about before, Michael. Like, don't get too excited because this is a comedy role on top of it, which is what I want to do. And so anyway, you do it. And honestly, I sent it off. This was in mid-December. Didn't hear back till mid-January. Okay.
Wow.
And that's how. And the other 2 I didn't hear back because I just didn't get it. So,
Right.
Yeah.
your agent will tell you, hey, they booked some people, or sometimes you don't find out. So with this one, the same day, and this is how the industry is, I got a call beforehand, and my agent's like, "Yo, Carlos, you booked the Lay's potato chip SAG National." I was like, "Hell yeah!" That's a nice money gig, and it's a fun commercial.
Definitely.
And then so getting all the info, wardrobe's gonna call you, and that's it. All right, beginning of the year, nice way to start the year. And so I hang up, and then I see a text or a message from my agent, and it was just like a voicemail, and I was like, "Oh, I bet you that's probably something to do with it, but I'll call her back later, whatever." And so I didn't even go back to it, and I call her back, and I get the message, and it's like, "Carlos, you booked Kimmy Schmidt." And I was like,
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
So
Hey,
it was.
Let me ask you,
Yeah.
when you do something like that, when you do that Kimmy Schmidt and you do your audition, do you think you nailed it? You know what I mean? Like, do you ever have you like, man, I nailed that?
Yes, I have done that before, and I haven't booked it.
Right. That's what I was gonna ask. That would be my follow-up. Have you ever nailed it? Been like, I nailed it, and then you didn't get it, and you're like, oh,
It's a good question. I tell you this, since they are tape auditions, the initial audition for most TV and film, especially because they shoot out of town, is a tape. And then the callback is when you actually go in to see the producer, the director, the writer, and they're all standing like at a panel. And yeah, I had when I did Graceland, the TV show on USA, when I did that one, I just connected with the director. It was like one of those, I was like, damn, if I don't get this shit, I'm props to the person, because it was just one of those really good, it just felt good. But most of the time, I'll feel good about it, but you don't want to you don't want to fully, set in and feel like,
Right.
oh, yeah, because then you just get disappointed. And it's, I tell you what's better is to forget about it. To forget about like the second I'm done with my audition, I immediately take all those emails that had anything to do with it and I store it away. I just want to forget about it. I'll move on to my next thing. I'll work on the radio. I'll work on photography. I'll work on my projects because I really have no control. Really no control of it.
That's the way you got to be. It's like a lot of things with a lot of businesses. It's that way. Once you realize that day that you have really no control of it at all, you can actually just kind of throw it away, and you can come home to your family and actually just let it all go and not have to worry about all night long. Like I was saying before, like where you're laying in bed and it's like, oh, you're worrying about it all night long. I used to do that all the time, and it's not like that anymore because I realized there's nothing I can do about it. And it makes for a better life, way less stress, and and better things come out of it. So it's always a good thing.
Yeah.
I felt like your Graceland versus your Identity Thief part, like the Identity Thief was the funny version of Graceland character, but the Graceland character was so devious and
I think after he lost his job at the gas station, he resorted to selling heroin. So times are tough.
Yeah, there was some relation there to me a little bit.
For sure.
I guess all acting is slight variances, and I was actually glad that they didn't. Well, I guess the part was already written, so you did your own voice, but you had a lot of stuff where they take advantage of you being Spanish.
Totally.
You know what I mean? So on Kimmy Schmidt, I was glad that you were just coaster head Joe.
Me too. Yeah, I
thought that was.
It's one of those things. It's a weird thing, the stereotype. The Latin thug, the gangbanger. Yeah, I get a lot of those, and I kind of look at it this way. When I've gone to auditions where I've walked out where the director literally has said this to me. I'll do my thing and I'll go, can you make it a little bit more Spanish?
Spanish, of course, they're gonna go there.
And I'll go. Do you mean like more like one like kind of sad Mexican like ay Dios mío?
Yeah, you really get it.
Like ay Dios mío, por favor, queremos ver por ahí. And I literally just started laughing at him and walked out of the audition because they didn't respect it. But if it's a cool script and the guy's a Latin gangbanger because the story takes place in Mexico City and it all fits, absolutely. It's the same way, why a guy with blonde hair, blue eyes is going to go for a surfer role. It just fits. But if it's done, to blatantly stereotype a race, which I have seen in auditions for, but then I won't do it. But I think it's really helped me to speak Spanish, to be multi-ethnic, because a lot of the times I played German. I'm not German. I played Muslim. I played Greek. I played Jewish, because I just kind of have this weird, multi-ethnic look. So I'm like, what do you need me to be today?
Yeah, exactly. So Kimmy Schmidt, everybody should go watch that. It's an amazing show. I want to move on to, since it is a Netflix original.
Yes.
Are you surprised at all at how well all these Netflix originals are? I mean, not just they're all doing well, but most of them are very good shows. I mean, to me, Daredevil is one of the greatest shows. You got House of Cards.
Yep.
There's numerous amounts. There's documentaries and everything that they have.
Yeah, How to Make a Murder.
Yep.
Or whatever it was. Yeah.
Yeah, that was insane that blew up that much too. So are you a little surprised that they're kind of overtaking the networks?
Not at all. Not at all, and I'll tell you why. I've been watching this since it started with House of Cards. That was their first big gamble. They said, all right, we're going to get an A-list star to be the head of the series, and we're going to put some money behind it. And the biggest difference, what they did that changed TV forever, was they refused to do a pilot. They said, we're not going to do a pilot. This is either you buy this show straight up with 12 episodes or whatever the hell it was, or you don't. And all of the other networks, CBS. So this wasn't a thing that Netflix was like, they bought it, and they bought it outright because CBS said, no, we need a pilot. Fox, we need a
Did
pilot.
they already have Spacey? Real quick?
Yes, yeah. This David
Wow.
Fincher. I think it's
It was
David Fincher, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
And Kevin Spacey, and they're at the networks, and this is old school thinking. No, we need a pilot, because if you really think about what a pilot is, it's ridiculous to shove everything into 47 minutes in order to tell the story that you're then gonna create over an arc, right? But so Netflix is super smart, and they said no. You guys do what you do. We're just the platform, and we'll promote it the right way. And that's what they did with Narcos, and that's what they did with all. They did what the studios used to do back in the day. They let the artists do their thing. They give them some money. They promote them and say, hey, we're just a platform. And I think that's why they've been so successful, and why so many big time stars like Will Smith and Adam Sandler are going like, why do I need to go to these gigantic studios? Why do I need to do this when everybody's watching Netflix? Tina Fey. I mean, Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt is produced and written by Tina Fey. I mean, the top of the game.
Yeah. Isn't it weird how that's changed? Like, it used to be A-list celebrities. They didn't do television.
Right.
You know what I mean? That was a step down for them. But
Yeah.
I think that kind of changed with Sopranos, right? Sopranos, The Wire.
Actually, I think that's when TV. I think when Sopranos and The Wire and Oz was the first ever drama on an HBO. When that came out, that changed the game. But what really changed the game was Kiefer Sutherland when he did 24. He was the first big movie star to really take a gamble and do this weird 24 that changed TV. That series changed TV. And I think that's when they look back will be the one point when they were like, uh-oh. And then just the amount of just everything changing, everything being mobile. Movie stars being on commercials, stars shooting up to this. There's the blueprint is kind of gone as to how to succeed now.
So you think it'll be like, if you look at the changes, it'll be like the Kiefer Sutherland in TV in 24 on TV, and then House of Cards kind of changed it into a different platform, basically.
No doubt about it. I think Orange is the New Black will be up there too, because it showed that these shows. What really will remember
actually,
is
right?
What's that?
Orange is the New Black came out before.
Was it really?
But it wasn't originally. I didn't think Orange is the New Black was originally on Netflix. I thought after that whole thing happened, where it kind of got canceled because the writer didn't like where it was going. I mean, I don't know. I didn't follow it at the beginning.
I thought that was the original one. I tell you,
maybe
more so than just the series itself. I mean, the term binge watching will forever be synonymous with Netflix. And that wasn't anything that had been done before. People were like, no, you got to slowly give it 1 week at a time.
Yeah.
Now it's kind of people are like learning, but we all like would binge everything. But now we realize, we don't want to binge everything. We want to like slowly dole it out if we can,
Right.
Yeah, there is definitely a downside to binge watching, because like I start to, if I binge watch something, I really start to nitpick it. Like, because you see how everything runs together, you see little flaws. Like, I was watching, what was I watching? Oh, Jessica Jones. And I started to realize that like they kind of manipulated the guy's powers and episodes sometimes to fit what they were trying to portray. Well, I was like, if I watched this every week, I would never notice.
Never. Yeah, you'd be like so excited for the next episode. And I think people are figuring out because what they realized was everybody watches TV differently. And I don't have, and I'm sure you guys don't have the time to sit down for like 10 hours at a time and knock out a whole series, but I'm on House of Cards still. I got a couple friends of mine that are on House of Cards that I haven't gotten to see yet, so I'm slowly just kind of watching one and the next one, and I'm digging it.
No offense, because I know you're in commercials, but
kind of taking a big step too. Those like, what's I can't even think. True Detective and some of those mini-series like that are just 8 episodes and that's it. Not that they didn't have True Detective 2, but it's a whole nother. What I mean?
Yeah, that's 2 different type of shows. I think the platforms allowing these big stars, Woody Harrelson and Matthew McConaughey, to jump in and, okay, we can knock out 8 episodes, we can knock out 4 episodes, and then go back to shooting a movie that'll take longer.
Well, Jeff Daniels was on Howard Stern, and he hasn't done any television, but he said that he would, and he never would have before. And he goes, the reason why we are is TV's a lot easier. It's just a lot
Right.
easier than movies.
Yep.
He goes, movies are a lot of work. They take up a lot of time. You have to go away from your family for months. Television, you knock them out, you're right back home.
That's
You know,
Well,
for
and
the
it's a
real
lot, and it's a lot easier than TV used to be, because now they shoot like they power shoot most TV episodes now, right? Where they shoot all 12 episodes in like a month, as opposed to shooting them once every couple weeks or something,
Not
right?
they're kind of depending on the show, depending on the scale of the production. But like, you know,
Okay.
Walking Dead, they shoot, you know, because I'll get a script and it'll be, you know, maybe 2 episodes ahead, and you know they're shooting during the season, so it's not like it definitely takes over 6 months. There's a season for it, but some shows, yes, they are able to knock out. But like, you know, these shows are so big now, they're little mini movies. Every one
Right.
of them is a mini movie, and our
Right.
expectations are so high now that we just are like, oh, Walking Dead, why didn't you have a better ending? You know, and it's
Right,
like,
right.
you know, there's so much that they do. These guys are, and with the biggest thing I love about these, when I get on these big sets, is these production masters at work, and that's what they are. They're masters, how they are able to manipulate the lens and just to get everything, and people take it for granted, you know. They're like, they know nothing about production, they know nothing about script writing, they know nothing about acting. They're like, this sucked, and you know,
They're all behind the scenes making the magic happen. We're just looking at it like, of course it's going to be beautiful. It's beautiful all the time.
Yeah, well, yeah,
There's
especially
no reason for it. It's just pretty.
on AMC, their shows are so clean. It's amazing. The people they have working on those shows have to be the very top of the game. From Breaking Bad to Better Call Saul to The Walking Dead, they're just, wow. They are just well done shows.
no doubt about it.
It's a good thing they don't have your camera, man.
That's,
No kidding.
that's
just
why
an
he's
eye cam.
because we see his nose the most.
Yeah.
He's only on here half the time anyways.
Not even half the time.
No,
Yeah.
a quarter. That's why sometimes
It's
his
just the
head
top
comes
of his
up.
head.
Speaking of Jesse and Carlos, I think, Carlos, I want you to do some convincing. I'm going to give you a
Okay.
platform just like the Monsters did
All right.
to convince us why Scarface is the best movie of all time.
Ah, man. There's so many ways I could approach this. But name to me a movie that you could literally say hello to my little friend, or any other of the million lines, and most people have never seen the film, but will tell you exactly who that character was and exactly who played that character. Al Pacino, to this day, says the #1 movie that people love over and over, and you know his body of work.
Hmm.
So you're saying, so do you think it's the best produced, best everything like that, or do you just
No.
most loved?
I think it has every element of what a great movie has, and every great movie has obviously great characters. Okay, every character in that, it's almost like a Western, and that's how he shot it. Was almost like a Western in certain senses, because these big characters that didn't have a lot to say, but you knew immediately what they were, real tight close-ups.
Mm-hmm.
It dealt with real-life issues. Where are they, other than, what's that Benicio del Toro movie that came out recently with, damn, what's the name of it?
Yes, Sicario or whatever.
Yes,
Oh.
that dealt with like real. Man, they just don't make movies that deal with what was going on at the time. Murdering,
At the time,
cocaine in Miami was nuts. And on top of that, a good movie, even the best ones, have a little bit of cheesiness in them, you know?
Mhm.
And they ride that line. Every Spielberg movie, you know, Scorsese, some of that stuff taken out of context is ridiculous. And on top of that, a beautiful movie star, Michelle Pfeiffer, one of the best movie stars of all time, Al Pacino. Script written by Oliver Stone when he was in a drug binge fueled rage, hanging out with Colombian freaking drug dealers and he named it after Tony Montana. Is named after Joe Montana, one of the greatest Americans of all goddamn time. So look,
So what makes it a great movie? No, I'm just kidding. No, but then even in that drug-induced binge of what when he wrote the script you were saying,
Yes.
right? So in all that and hanging out with those kind of characters and seeing that side of it, also figured that we're going to put this massive political, exactly what's happening at the time, we're going to put these kind of politics into it, of transferring a certain people to a certain country. We're emptying, they decided, it was Castro, decides to empty out the prisons.
Yep.
It's like, we're not just going to go ahead and you're sure, the people can come over, that's great. But then they start putting them in droves, taking them out of the prisons, putting them on the boats, bringing them here. So there was those politics involved.
Yep.
You know, and that's why he was, you know, they had him under the hot lights going, you know, where'd you come from? You know, who's your mom? Who's your dad?
Yeah.
Yeah, where'd you get
Exactly right.
that scar?
And
You know,
you
everything about it.
I tell you right now, I'm working on a project that has to do with Scarface right now. That is
I was going to ask you. I just knew it. I knew it. I was like, if I was like, would you feel? I was going to ask you, would you feel you'd be suitable for the next generation Scarface role, even if it wasn't Scarface, just to be in the movie, you know? And
you know what, guys? I'm working on a project right now, and I'll tell you, I've only told like the show. I haven't said it on the air or anything, but like I can't go into all the details because it's just some copyright stuff. But I'm working on something that has to do with Scarface that I think will be the next kind of game changer, that like amazing type of live event, and I'll be sure to hit you guys up when it look out for it in October. But I'll just say this: Scarface the Experience will be coming soon.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
it just made my night because that's what I wanted. I wanted to hear something like that, and it actually happened. That's amazing. I was thinking about it in my head, and it happened.
You know,
That's
I
unbelievable.
appreciate you asking, because like that movie, I'm half Cuban. You know, my mom came over in that same political asylum in the 50s. You know, so that movie is very close to me, and you know, just everything. I just love the story, and I love the film, and I just said, I gotta give a tribute to it. I gotta be a part of it. And so, and to go back to the acting stuff, the reason I work on these projects is because I can control this. I'm creating this. It's never been done before, so I'm literally getting all of the people that I know together to really create something cool, and I can control that. So when I do go out on a gig and I don't book it, like today or yesterday, I was going for Fast and Furious 8 with, you know, a part co-starring with Charlize Theron. You know, like I booked that part. I'm working with Charlize in freaking New Zealand or some shit, you know, and but I haven't heard anything. I try and forget about it. So I go back to my work. I do my radio. I do my photography. I do my family, and that's all really you can do. And that kind of, so yeah, I'll definitely be telling y'all about it, man. I'm so excited about it. And
you did have.
I got one. Wait. I got one more question. I have to get going. I got one more question. Why are you doing this show? That's my question. Why are you doing this show?
You know why? Because when I talked to Jim that day at the wedding, I would hate to ever get in the position. Like, look, if I'm so goddamn busy where, like, every second, I literally was doing stuff until I walked in the door. I had auditions, I had a shoot, I had a meeting, I had a thing for a comedy night, which I hope you guys are going to come to, the final comedy night, Thursday, April 28th. So literally, I was like, okay, boom, and I walked in. But you guys all seem really cool. I checked out the show. If you guys seem like a bunch of assholes, I'll be like, no. But, like, but you guys, just the sheer fact, look, remember, there's no reason I should be doing any of the things that I'm doing. I'm a first-generation American. My dad came from Peru. My mom came from Cuba. I have nobody in the business. Zero. There's not like aunt, a cousin, a friend that ever did anything. I just love entertaining. And if it's entertaining with you guys, or if it's entertaining on an open mic where there's 5 people there, or if it's entertaining on a big movie set, it's in my soul. And if I want to do it, I'm going to do it regardless of whatever level I'm at, you know?
I said the perfect thing, Jesse. I said, thank you for your hours of entertainment every day. That's how I started the conversation.
That's true. I'm a sucker for a compliment.
Probably broke it in.
All right, guys, I got to get going. Hey, it was great meeting you.
Nice meeting you as well, man.
Later.
Hey, Jesse.
So, yeah, that's very good. I love Scarface too. My main thing is I love I love more of the music, not even the music, how the sound that it makes at certain points, that end orchestra, whatever that is, you know.
It was a design score. Yeah, it
What's
was a
that?
design score specifically for the
Yes.
film. Every part of it, and Marty Bergman, the producer, was really fighting the director on this almost the entire time, and Oliver Stone was fighting it the entire time too. He wanted to make it a real hardcore political drama, and luckily all those pieces coming together really made it to what it is. And yeah, I didn't even mention the score before, and that's a classic, you know.
Yes. That's to me. That's what actually enhanced it a little bit more.
It's amazing what a Moog synthesizer can do to a movie score.
Yeah.
It just kind of breaks it down to basics, and then just says this is what it is, and it makes it very had a huge backbone to it for what it is.
Totally.
You know, it's like it could be just a regular music score with a little bit of a symphony or anything like that, but no, they chose to do that, and it's basic and great. That's what I like about movies like that when they do stuff like that. Music is a big thing for me all the way around, but mostly in movies. And I think a lot of times, really, that's what sucks people in.
Totally.
At first, I mean, it's the intro of the movie. You have this musical score. Is it going to be interesting? When I watch Scarface, same thing with Clockwork Orange.
Yes.
They use a Moog synthesizer than that. Wendy Carlos. I think she had like a sex change or something too. There was some other background there, but she ended up using the musical score and that one with the Moog synthesizer too. So
Cool.
like those two movies tie in with me like that as some of my favorite movies, and they both have a score with the Moog synthesizer. So there must be something there. I know I got music nerdy on you, but I think there might be something
I know
there.
what you're saying, though. I know what you're saying.
And I have two things before we get out of here. First, when you worked for EA, I saw on there that you had it said there was a voiceover for a video game, Geist. Was that the only one you have, or have you done other video game voiceovers?
Yeah, luckily I was able to do a lot of voices in Madden, a couple of different of the years, a lot of the different players. I did the Arena Football League game. I did some of the Blitz game. I did Geist. What else did I do? Oh man, I just did a new project with my boy. That's so cool. And you guys are into video games?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Well, especially Sam over there.
Yeah.
I signed a whole bunch of NDAs, but let's just say like it's gonna be an awesome, one of a kind kind of game, and there are only certain companies that can do that. And there are certain games that have needed kind of a game. I'm trying to be very vague here, but maybe
Right. It's all good.
But
Trying to think.
yeah.
I think Sam could figure it out.
Right.
What I'm saying is,
Is it EA Sports?
I can't say anything.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is it EA?
Okay. Does it start with an E and end with an A?
Let's just say it's always good to never burn bridges, because you end up working with the same. Oh, and you know what? That's another thing to get back why I would do the show. Here's another thing. What if I was an asshole and I was like, why would I do it? And then all of a sudden your show gets big, and you guys are like,
Exactly.
Guess who didn't show up?
Hey, asshole! Remember, So you got to be nice, because the industry, the entertainment industry, small, man, and they will remember you, and people will fight for you even when you don't know it, and so you just got to be good people,
Jim, let me jump in real quick.
Yes.
Before you wrap up.
Yep.
So being from Orlando and being a big sports fan, did you get a chance to catch the this magic moment yet?
I did.
What'd you think? I only get to see bits and pieces. I missed. I didn't get to see all of it yet.
This is my assessment, being a pretty hardcore Magic fan and Orlando fan as can be.
Wait, real quick, just to explain how big of a Magic fan you are. Aaron Gordon, the guy who should have won the dunk contest, did a signed autograph poster for his daughter. If his daughter's not getting it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Should you have said that?
I asked him what he wanted, what is the most important thing to him to talk about, and he said family, which wouldn't work too much for working, but he was honest with that. And he's stealing a poster from her. That's how big
I'm going to steal the poster. I am going to steal. Well, here's the funny thing is, I show up, and she's a great fan. She knows all the players. She watches the games. I brainwashed her, literally from day one. And so I'm a massive, massive fan. And to get back to the magic moment, I would say this. Well,
an hour and 45 minutes of it, I was smiling ear to ear, and the last 15 minutes felt like a prison shanking. I was like,
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. Oh man, I gotta watch that.
It was so good though, guys. You have to check it out because you see what a great team we had and where our city came from. And to be honest, Pat Williams, which I see all the time, and I do always say hey to him, and I've read his books. That guy is the sole reason, pretty much the sole reason that the Orlando Magic are here. He put them on our back and came here. And without the Orlando Magic, we would have no Orlando City. We would not be. It would not have been that easy of a jump. And it showed that this market worked.
Yeah, Orlando City is huge.
So there was something there that I wanted to ask about. I guess I don't know that it was in there, but I was listening to Bomani Jones, who you're probably familiar with. He's on the Libetard show all the time. Oh. He was talking about this and referenced that, and like I said, I don't know if it's in the show or not, but he said like one of the reasons why they think Shaq might have left, that there was a poll whether or not Orlando should keep Shaq or not, and his mom saw it, and his mom told him about it, and he didn't say, and what Shaq told whoever told this to Bomani was, it wasn't the reason I left, but it was a reason why I didn't stay.
They fully lay it out what happens, and yes, that was one of the reasons. And the poll was such a stupid thing by the Orlando Sentinel, and they did it. And at that time, we all gotta remember, at that time, $100 million contract was not something normal. That was like, oh my God. And really, what did it was, first off, the Magic lowballed them. They said 4 years, $80 million. Okay, think about that. You have Shaquille O'Neal. You offer him a mid-level contract, But what really got him was he turned on SportsCenter, and Alonzo Mourning got for 7 years. And of course, Shaq being one of the anomalies in sports, a guy that we'll probably never see again. He wanted to be the big dog, and then so the people who signed it, 2 seconds later, the contract is done. John Gabriel gets wind that he might be leaving. He tries to meet Shaq's lawyer. He meets him out there, and he looks him in the eyes, and he basically says, "Hey, it's done. He's in L.A." It's brutal, man, brutal, and that's the end of it.
We know a little bit about brutal because we're from Buffalo, New York. So
gotcha.
All the Bills.
Yeah. Speaking of rough 30 for 30s.
Yes.
Oh, that one was really,
rough, but awesome. You know what I mean? It's kind of a double-edged thing. Like, that was our childhood. Well, it's sad. It's still really cool that your team got to go to 4 straight championships.
Totally get it.
Exactly. So I want to give one more. Make sure you guys go to IamCarlosNavarro.com, where you can check out Carlos's some of his parts that he's had. Photography by Navarro, at To The Top Carlos, and as something for you, I want to see if you want to give a shout out to a charity.
Oh man, you know what? Be sure. There's a real great one called War Cameron. War Cameron. He's a young kid. He's dealing with a lot of different issues right now, multiple tumors and different diseases, and the kid is selling T-shirts to pay for his medical costs. He doesn't want to do a GoFundMe, and it's one of those where I see and you go like, man, something is totally wrong in this world where we got a kid having to sell T-shirts on the web, and we got other people flying in 24-karat gold planes, to do horrible shit. And so check out War Cameron. You can buy like a little bracelet like this and T-shirts and just support him because the kid's so young, and I don't know how many of y'all have kids. I can tell some of y'all got kids, and it's when it's kids, man, and that's really one of a lot of the charities that I really like to help out is kids one, because that's where it all starts, man.
Jim, can you post a link to that in something so we can get access to that?
I'll do that to the Facebook Live and the YouTube. I'll put that below the description. We really appreciate you being here with us, Carlos.
Had a great time.
Entertaining as always, and thanks for giving us behind the scenes stuff that not everybody knows, and every day giving us behind the scenes with your Periscope, your Facebook Live.
Thanks, man.
I saw that national audition, and there was like 4,000 people there. I thought
that was the Lay's potato chip one.
Oh, okay. Wow. So you got that. That's good.
Yeah.
All right.
Thanks a lot, great time, guys. I appreciate you guys having me on the show, and keep doing what y'all do. Great talking to y'all, and hopefully I'll talk to y'all later once that project comes back out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
All right,
That'd be
sounds
awesome. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thanks for coming
Carlos.
on.
Thank you.
Talking with you, man.
Carlos, hang out real quick for a second. I just want to ask you something when we pop
Sure.
off air.
Sure.
Oh, let me do the outro real quick.
Goodbye, everybody.